Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, and on this video I want to talk about a comment that somebody made on my last YouTube channel about voids in HMOs. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about how we have managed to get our voids down to virtually none whilst we are in a pandemic. So stick around, I'm going to share my top tips. Let's do that intro. Hi, I'm Gannon, welcome back to my channel. Alright, so I'm out in my back garden. My dogs are going a little bit mad. Can you see them? I've got a little sausage dog and two big labs. You'll see them running around. There we go. There's one of them just barking now. So I did a video last week about HMOs and why I think they're a solid investment, and why I think they're a solid investment during, the outbreaks that we've had with coronavirus. And somebody left a comment, and that comment was, tell the truth, because voids are a big issue right now. So this is me telling the truth. Voids for us aren't a problem. Now, they were a problem when we started the first lockdown. And the first lockdown for us was quite scary because we did have about 17 voids. Now, we've got about 140 to 150 HMO rooms at any one time with refurbs and what have you. And it was a little bit scary, but that was a year ago. And over the last 12 months, we've got our voids down to 2. Now, in consideration to how large our portfolio is, 2 voids for us is absolutely perfect, and it's exactly where we need to be. So the reality for us is that voids aren't a problem, and HMOs for us are absolutely, in my view, in my opinion, one of the most future-proofed rental strategies moving forwards for the rest of 2021 and beyond. So I'm going to share a few tips with you and try and help you fill those voids. And I'm going to just tell you what we do, exactly everything that we do, in order to push forwards and be proactive when it comes to filling rooms. Okay, so I'm going to start with my top 5 tips. So this is my first tip, number 1. Can you hear me? Because there's loads of people mowing their lawns. It's a lovely afternoon here. So my first tip for you is to be more available. So one of the things that we did during the last 12 months and during lockdown, we had one property manager, and that property manager's got family commitment. So the working hours for us to do viewings then was Monday to Friday, basically 9 to 5. We didn't have any weekend opportunities available, and we didn't have anything after 5 p.m. So one of the first things we did was employ a second assistant property manager. Now, I know that it's against the grain when it comes to spending more money when you're actually making less money. But when we took the second property manager on, literally within the first week, she rented about 5 rooms and paid for her year's salary in the first week of her being with us as a company. So that made us more available as a company, because she was able to do viewings up to 7 p.m. and do viewings on a Saturday and do viewings on a Sunday, which she never really kind of pushed before. So then we had loads more inquiries coming in, loads more leads, which of course meant selling more and renting more rooms out. So that's tip number 1. Make yourself more available. Try and open your hours a little bit longer. Try and extend them. Just do a little bit more and be a little bit more flexible. So my next tip is to be more proactive. So we advertise mainly on spareroom.co.uk. And that's one of the country's largest advertising platforms for house shares. But spare room is quite a big beast, and it's not really just a case of advertising and expecting people to come to you, because there's way more involved with spare room, and you have to do more. So in times when you're struggling for voids, I'm going to give you a few more tips on how you can maximize all of your adverts if you use platforms like spareroom.co.uk. So spare room allows you to do several things depending on the level of subscription that you have. Now, you can boost your adverts, you can have bold adverts, you can renew adverts, and you can also have pay per click. And they're all very different things. So first of all, bold. So a bold advert gives you a bold background and enables you to stand out. So it doesn't look the same as the other adverts. It looks different. So hopefully people will be more drawn into your advert if it's bold. Now, the other elements are boost and renew. So it depends on the level of subscription that you have with Spare Room. You can boost your advert to go back to the top of the listing, and you can renew them as well. They're both kind of the same thing. Now, a boost will put your advert to the top of the listing for a longer period of time. And that means when people scroll through and they're looking for properties in your area, they might see yours first. So those elements are all really good, and you've got to do those on a regular basis, and it's a manual process. But there's also something called pay-per-click, and you can bid to be the top advert on every page in your area. Now, the thing is with this, that other people will want to do the same, so you're bidding against each other. And it's almost like an auction where you bid, let's say 14 pence per click, and that means that you'll get to be at the top of every page in your area. But then I come along and I'm in your area and I bid 15 pence per click. That means now that I'm number one. So then you see that I'm 15 pence and you raise your bid to 16. So now you're number one. And it is a little bit of to and fro. Now, what we do is as soon as we start to get a lot of voids, we do all of the above. Now, the other element with Spare Room as well is that you've got to keep your adverts looking fresh. You've got to keep your photos looking fresh. So first of all, what do your photos look like? Do they look inviting? And look at this as a consumer. If you were looking to rent your room, do the adverts look good enough? Are they going to draw you in order for you to then go and book a viewing? If not, then consider having professional photographs done. Now, professional photos are an asset, they are an asset to your company, and they will serve you really well moving forwards. So the other element as well with Spare Room is moving your photos around on maybe a weekly basis, so it keeps your adverts looking fresh. And if you've got a property with 6 rooms, I wouldn't advertise them all, because Spare Room will show the property and each individual room and that they're vacant. Now, not everybody wants to move into a house on their own. Not everybody wants to move, be the last person either to move into a house. So I would just list one room. And then when people come to view the property, they can potentially then be shown all of the other vacant rooms at the same time. So the next element with Spare Room is your description. Is it good or not? And be honest with yourself. So what we try and do is we try and sell the lifestyle as well as the property. So how can the lifestyle enhance the person? How can the property enhance their lifestyle? Is it going to make it better? So we don't just talk about the good points on the house. We talk about the points where the house is situated and the amenities that the property is surrounded by and how that can help them. So the final point I want to touch on with Spare Room is not everybody will contact you. Sometimes people are lazy. So you can go on to Spare Room and you can look for people that are looking to rent in your area and contact them yourself. So we're kind of reversing the role a little bit here. So go on to Spare Room and type in people looking for rooms and check your area, and then send them a message. And that message could be, hey, I saw that you're looking for rooms in our area. I've got a few properties available. Check out these links. And then you can put your Spare Room links on them. Now, all of these elements together, if you do these on a daily basis, will really help you get leads in, which of course will rent more rooms. So my next tip is your existing tenant database. Have you asked them if they know anybody at all that would be prepared to take on a 6-month contract and live in their property? And if they do have someone in mind, then it's good news for you, because they'll only recommend people that they want to live with themselves. Now, we can offer up to 1 month's full rent as an incentive to bring people in. And we've done that before because I'd rather have 5 months of rent than 3 or 4 month voids. So we can incentivize current tenants just by calling them, sending a blanket email and asking them if they know anybody, and we can pay them up to whatever you're comfortable with. But that will really incentivize your tenants to actually think, well, who do they know who would want to live in a property in your area? So try and ask your current tenants and see what happens. So my next tip is Facebook Marketplace. Have you used Facebook Marketplace? It's insane. If you advertise a room for rent on Facebook Marketplace, I can guarantee you within the first 30 minutes, you will be inundated with private messages. It just goes nuts. It really does. Now, I think there's about an hour's shelf life on this, so you might have to do it every single day, but you will absolutely be inundated with messages. But this comes as a buyer beware, because the level of tenant prospects that we've seen from Facebook Marketplace have generally been a lot lower than the desired quality that we normally have. So make sure you've got a really good, robust due diligence process in place before you start to take tenants from Facebook Marketplace. Now, this is an exercise you need to do every day, and you put it alongside Gumtree and do the same thing with Gumtree. So those things coupled together will see more leads coming in. So my next tip is be more online. Now, we've just come through a 12-month period where we've been in and out of lockdown. We're still in lockdown at the moment. So if you've got online assets, then that's going to help pay dividends in the future. So during lockdown last year, we decided to go for a 360-degree Matterport video for all of our properties. Now, Matterport is the name of the camera, and what we did, we employed someone to come out and they went through the whole of our houses and they recorded a 360-degree render, and then we get a link to that and then we give that to our tenant prospects. So that means our tenant prospects can click on the link and they get a virtual 3D walkthrough of the property before they book a viewing. Now, that's perfect for us because it means that then once they've seen that and they still want to book a viewing, then they're really super keen. So if you haven't done this already, start to get things online. If you can even do this with an iPhone, go to your properties, do a walkthrough with your phone, host it somewhere and just give the link to your prospects on WhatsApp. Okay, so my final tip is contacting local employers and contacting local care homes. Now, we've got quite a large demographic of care home workers in our portfolio. And when we start to get a lot of voids, then we start to get on the phones and we start calling around all of the care homes, asking if they have any staff that would like a room. Now, it's also a really good idea to have something tangible that you can send on an email. So something like a PDF, a description of your properties, the amount of rent that you're looking for, the bonuses, the area, the type of tenant that live in the properties already. So something very similar that you will already have from your spare room advert. So calling local employers is a really, really good point. Now, coupled all together, all of these tips that I've given you will absolutely see more leads coming into your business, which then hopefully will turn into more rents. So in times of, voids, big periods of voids, you've got to do more. Otherwise, you're going to get swallowed up by your competition, because if you don't do more, your competition will, and then you'll end up losing out. So, if you think you're going to get voids, you probably will. But if you tell yourself that you're not going to get voids and you do more than you're doing now, take some of the tips that I've just explained with you, then you will absolutely start to fill those rooms. So that's just a quick video from me. That's what we're doing right now. We've got 2 voids, that's all. We're still in lockdown. It's an amazing place to be right now in the property rental sector. So those are my best tips for you. So hope that helps. If it does, please leave a comment. Let me know what your tips are and anything that I might have missed. But please do leave a comment below. And of course, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you on the next one. Hi, I'm Gannon. Welcome back to my channel.